South Africans shouldn't feel too intimidated then by this research.
Not at all. And to be honest, I wasn't surprised that we were not on the list, because United States, I mean, we all think the States, they are so sexually open, and you know, we always read what they're up to, and they didn't make it on the list. And so I myself, when I started to think about it, I think we're pretty much like the States with our where we are sexually. You know, we've been repressed for many years. You know, there was the sanctions, and then there was editing that went on, and so for a long time we didn't really know what the rest of the world was doing, because there was all these things going on. And then there's the religious dogma, and then there's social pressure, and if you keep all of that into account, and the same also happens in America, where, you know, there's also a high instance of HIV infections, there's a high teenage pregnancy, there's a high rate of abortion, and that's what we have as well. So I was not surprised that we were not on the list, and I think we've made a lot of progress, but it's going to take a few generations to maybe make it on some list.
Now, I find what you're saying so fascinating, because of course we're talking about sex between two consenting adults, and of course we want to have a country where we have sexually satisfied citizens. So what do South Africans need to do to make sure that we are looking after ourselves in the bedroom?
Yes, a great question. Now, first of all, I want to point out to the flaws here, the 12 most sexually satisfied countries in the world. And I'll just mention a few so that the viewers know what this study said, the survey. Number one was Spain, and I wasn't surprised with that. I think we all know about the Spanish and their anyway, they got 90% satisfaction, they said. But again, we have to keep in mind people might lie, right? Then we've got Nigeria, which is number 2nd on the list, and they dropped to 67%. We've got the next one, Italy, 64%. Then we have Mexico, it looks like 61%. And then we've got India, 61%, Mexico, 63, India, 61. And the rest I didn't even count, because I didn't come up with a sexual satisfaction percentage. That is very low. So here, these 12 countries are supposed to be the most satisfied in the world. How would you feel if somebody says, you're number 5 on the list, and you are the most sexually number 5, and you scored 61%?
It's abysmal.
I mean, for real.
Right.
So my point, even for the 12 countries that are feeling so, I'm sure, very chuffed that they're on the list, but they suck. I mean, besides Spain, I mean, everybody else is in the 60s and 50s. How good is that? That means 50% of the people are not sexually satisfied. So I think from looking at this, I think we should feel better about ourselves that we didn't make the list, because the ones that made the list, their remarks were not that wonderful either. So how can we become more sexually satisfied? You know, I think knowledge is power. We need to really start to know that we all are sexual beings, and not walk around with our head in the sand. And if there's anything that you can read to make yourself more aware of your own and your couple sexuality, you've got to do that. There's videos out there, there's the internet, there is erotica, there's toys. And then there are people like myself that help people almost as a cheerleader or coach to become more comfortable with their sex lives. So there's so much out there, and then of course we also have a unique situation in South Africa that we're so stressed. I read just the other day that we're the 2nd most stressed country in the world after Nigeria. So maybe that's why they're having so much sex. So maybe we should. Well, because if Nigeria, you know, they cope with their stress by having sex, maybe we should take a few tips, because we're not having that much sex.
That's actually what I want to talk to you about. So if we have a look at a City Press article from July last year, that's recently.
Yes.
SA men have far less sex than the global average. Isn't that fascinating?
Until you read the finer lines.
And tell us about those.
Well, I first I read that and I thought, oh no. And then I saw that they quote, they're having sex, is it 165 times a year?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's once a week. And I thought, what's wrong with that? That is excellent, because often the average is about once or twice a week. And so if you just look at once a week, I think we're good to go.
We're doing okay.
We're doing just fine. Absolutely.
Yes, in fact, 52 times a year compared with 104 times. That's the global average.
And that would be twice a week.
Right.
And so we're not that bad. And you know, actually, I think the national average about 1 to 2 times per week or 10 days. So we're still hanging in there. Nothing to be shy about.
Good.